Hey, this is Dre. Today, I want to ask you one question. Have you discovered the one strategy that drives in your ideal clients like crazy? Okay, not too many responses right now, so I'm figuring not too many people have found that one strategy that increases their business, scales their revenue, and keep leads flowing in. And not only keep leads flowing in, but the type of leads they're looking for, right? That's what I expected as well. Okay, somebody actually said that billboards actually help with the industry, and I know that will change. And we're going to get into this later on upon this webinar too. So hold on to your seats and let's get started. So the top three challenges that people maybe faces when looking for their ideal clients using the bullseye strategy. Number one, they have a lack of clarity on their target audience, meaning they don't know their ideal clients. So why would I test new strategies, new tactics, right? New marketing channels? Why would I test them if I don't know the message, right? That I'm gonna push towards my ideal customer, right? So this can lead you to testing different methods, messages, ads, pictures, everything in different marketing channels. And it could not be beneficial, right? It leads to scattered efforts and wasted resources, wasted time, wasted energy, just doing things, right? And trying things. We want to stay away from a lack of clarity about our target audience. The next thing that may be in the way is you're overwhelmed with too many options. Okay. So when we have too many options at hand, sometimes we get distracted, right? We got social media, ads, partnerships, magazines. All these options can cause us not to move forward, right? Because it's just too many decisions. And what we do, we actually put it on hold. We put it to the side until we feel comfortable. And as months pass by, years pass by, you find out you have not took action on any type of strategy. You only do what you're used to or what you know. The last thing is fear of taking risks, which connects with the overwhelm too many options. You don't make a decision. You don't take action on using any marketing channel to see if it's your bullseye strategy, because ultimately, um, you just don't know, and that fear increases, the doubt increases. You don't want to waste money. You don't want to do anything wrong, and that leads to a cost of inaction, right? You take no action, it leads to inaction, and the it costs you being able to reap fruits and benefits in your business. So we want to make sure that we understand the top three challenges that people face. And there's more, but these are the top three that I thought would really identify with you. The lack of clarity on target audience, right? Not knowing your ideal clients. You have too many options and you're scared to take risks. And these are very common. Everyone deals with it in different forms of fashions. And I'm going to go into detail to make you feel more comfortable when you have the decisions at your table on finding your ideal clients and also finding your bullseye strategy. This is going to help with everything in your business. So, who am I? My name's Dre Richmond. Here's my lovely family to the right hand side. I've been in business for more than 8 years, DBA Marketing Pros. We actually focus on helping high ticket customers with selling and pushing their products to acquire their ideal clients, right? So if you got a high ticket item and you have a high customer base, we actually focus on helping those particular clients when it comes to online marketing, digital marketing, advertising, a website, you name it. And today, I actually want to share with you what's most important is this strategy I learned from DuckDuckGo founders Gabriel Wimberg and Justin Mars. They were able to write in their books how to find your bullseye strategy, that one specific source that actually moves and drives the needle in your business. It helps you scale, it helps you grow, and they've done it multiple times with multiple startups. So it's critically important, vitally important for us to implement this type of strategy to actually scale any startup, um, any season where your business growth changes and you want to pivot, right? This strategy from traction teaches how to handle every situation and how to move forward with driving in more business. And so I want to give all credit to them for this type of strategy. And also, I want to let you know, like, just some credibility on their behalf. DuckDuckGo is one of the biggest, Google's biggest competitors, and they have scaled over $90 million in business after using this strategy repetitiously. And also, I found out the co-founders and founders actually have created other businesses and had much success from continually using the bullseye strategy, which I'm going to teach you today. So we have the table contents of what we're going to be discussing today. We're going to be discussing the outer ring, the middle ring, and the inner ring. Okay. So just to give you an analogy, I have a picture of rings. You have your outer ring, middle ring, and inner ring. And I'm going to describe each one of these and how it can help you be more efficient when selecting a strategy and scaling your business. So within our outer ring, the outer ring deals with multiple channels. So you have target blogs, you have PR, you have SEO. There's like 19 main marketing channels. There's more because everything's going to change and grow as we continue to age and grow in business. You're going to have more marketing channels. However, the main ones that people usually focus on over the past 20 years, 50 years are here, the 19 target blogs, publicities, social and display ads, billboards, trade shows. So in the outer ring, we have the main top 19 channels that we want to use, and we want to identify those and then potentially select certain ones that we'll eventually be able to test to drive in business. So this just gives you a big idea and a big scope of all the 19 channels available to use in your business. And there's more. Every year there's going to be new channels coming out, different forms and different methods of advertising. So stay on alert for that. So within these 19 marketing channels, you're going to want to make a selection of which ones is going to help you drive and scale your business, right? So to be able to do that, right, you're going to want to look at your previous clients. If you have any, you can look at your previous clients, look at their reviews, look at, hey, how did they find you? You start asking questions. How did this person find me? Okay, was it on a search engine, right? Those are clues that you want to pay attention to that's going to help you drive in more business. After you do that as well, you're going to want to research the channels that people are using in your industry. Okay, so if you're a healthcare client, you're going to want to look at, okay, how are people actually finding most businesses in healthcare right now? Like, right, they're using Google My Business page, are they using television? Are they using a local newspaper? How are people finding out about us? Are they using SMS, text messaging, right? So we want to make sure that we pay attention to the strategies already being used in the industry so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's important not to reinvent the wheel because that helps you have a step ahead of your competition so you can pick up where you look up left off. So you can look at your competitor reviews too. I want to give you some ideas about that because looking at your competitor reviews, if you don't have too much business or maybe you have been using the strategies that's already in your reviews, you can see what the users have said about competitors and their information, and then you can take that, take those clues, those little hidden gems and say, okay, oh, they found them through the local newspaper. Maybe I consider using the local newspaper as one of my marketing strategies in the future. These are just clues that we use when we're actually trying to select out of the 19 marketing channels, which channels will be successful for our business. And so to drive a little bit more passion about this, you want to look at your 19 marketing channels and you want to put an idea beside each one of those 19 marketing channels that we had shown before. You want to put in one idea around the messaging, right? And see, will this speak to my ideal clients? Am I passionate about it, right? And you start looking at different factors of, okay, this is a winner, this is not. You start choosing based on how, your intuition, right? And also probably about your previous experiences. If you already used the channel before, you're not going to use it again, right? If it didn't produce leads for you and produce good business for you. So you want to come up with a message for each one of those 19 marketing channels we saw. And it's going to really help your business and help you sharpen the iron and focus primarily on those channels that work for you. So when we get to the middle ring, okay, you want to look at the middle ring and choose the top 3 to 4 channels out of those 19 to 20 channels that we have listed. You want to choose the top 3 to 4 channels that really resonate with you, that you're passionate about, where your messaging spoke to your ideal clients. And maybe you've done some research and saw that, okay, my clients exist here in this marketing channel. Let me test it out, right? And also sometimes you can see the cost per lead. So you want to choose a channel that has high impressions, a lot of eyeballs on it, right? A lot of your people are live there. Your users live there. They talk about those channels and they're using them all the time. And also you want to consider how much it costs to get a lead. Like that information is online when you do your research. So you want to consider how much it's going to cost to get a specific lead, and then you want to make sure it's in your budget. Okay. I recommend not spending no more than $1,000 on one marketing channel when you're first starting to test it out. Okay. You can do more. Don't get me wrong. No limitations. If you got it like that, move on it. But for testing purposes, you want to see if it's going to work. So you want to select 3 to 4 that you want to use and test it to see if it's going to work. Okay. So if you select 4 of them, you're going to spend 250 for each channel and then see what type of business it produce, what type of leads it produce. Okay. So I would recommend setting $1,000 budget, test it the first month. And if you want to expand it a little bit, you can test it the second month, third month too. Okay. Sometimes we do quarterly versus doing 1 month, depending on our budget, depending on how, the time it takes to produce a lead, out of a specific marketing channel. So you want to test and experiment for that first month to see what type of leads it's going to produce. And so when you're in this testing phase, it's so important here because it's going to help you with every area of business. When you're in this testing phase, you want to look at the marketing channels like a business. You want to test it back and forth, okay? And so whenever you treat this business like a garden, you want to make sure that you plant a good seed. Okay, you want to make sure that you plant the seed in the ground, right? You saw all the opportunities. Okay, now we're laser focused. We're planting the seed in the ground, and we're going to grow it. Okay, so we chose our top 3 to 4 plants that we want to grow, right? If I want to grow, let's say, red peppers, I'm going to plant those red peppers, okay? And then it's going to look forward to producing red peppers. I'm going to plant that seed, look forward to it producing. So you're going to treat it like a garden so it can produce the fruit that you're looking for. And so then what do you do with the garden? You take care of it, okay? You're testing the seed, you're seeing which seed produces on which good soil during which season. So you're looking at the month that you're doing it, you're tracking your efforts and you're seeing how much people have actually closed with you after you have tested these 3 to 4 advertising methods or 3 to 4 marketing channels that you select. You want to make sure that when you actually are testing, you look at it just like an experiment. Okay, it's no different. I'm trying to find out what works because I don't know yet. I'm seeing if the clients that I worked with in the past, if those methods still exist, if they're still pulling in my ideal clients, if they're still going to work overall. So after you finish testing, you're going to now be in the inner ring phase. Okay. And the inner ring phase is when you finish your testing. And remember, you can do your test for the first month, second month, third month. It's your choice. But after you finish testing those 3 to 4 strategies, you're going to move on to the inner ring, and that's going to be the top strategy that produces fruit. We're looking for the winners. Okay. Which strategy got me ideal leads? Not only one, which strategy got me leads. Okay. Which strategy got me my ideal clients or brought them to me for a conversation and I built a relationship off of it. This is the most important part, okay? Because in this area, you're going to find that some strategies that you use produce you 2 leads, okay? Some of them produces you 1 client. Well, that's a sign of life. When you got that sign of life, you want to ramp it up, okay? You want to go from 1 to 8, and you want to put all your eggs in this basket. That is called the bullseye marketing strategy. We went through looking at the channels and reviewing them to actually testing the top 3 to 4 that resonated with us, that fit our budget, and we found life in them. And then after we saw which strategy produced our ideal clients or those conversations, and we ramp it up to drive revenue. Okay. So once you find your bullseye strategy, okay, in the inner ring, you're going to want to sharpen it. Okay. You want to sharpen it, improve it. If it's billboards, you want to test the image, change the image, right? You want to actually probably put more billboards up, even around your competitors' area. Okay, you want to put as many as possible because you see that that produces fruit. You want to test A/B test is when have you have an experiment going on and you got one control factor and one experiment factor. So you may keep one of the same and then you actually improve the experiment billboard along the way to see how it produces when you change it and improve it. So we want to constantly scale it every single month with this bullseye strategy until it saturates, meaning, the competitors are all in doing the same thing or the expense rises. Okay. So when you are trying this bullseye strategy method, it's actually very important to pay attention and track your results and track the leads you get, track the calls you get, and make sure you know where it's coming from. Potentially put codes on like different shirts if you're pushing out shirts and having people wear your gear and see how many people actually, look at your branding and want to follow up about it. Well, you might put a QR code on it. Okay. If you're handing out a business card, you may put a QR code on that. So there's multiple methods, but our objective is to sharpen them and then get down to the nitty gritty where we find that one method that actually produces the most fruit in our business, the most leads, the most clients, and scales our revenue in our business. This is how you get from startup from zero to hero. Okay. This is so important. So I want to make sure that you understand when you get to the inner ring, it's all about taking that strategy that you found like that marketing channel that you found life in, and then you amplify that marketing channel and you put go all in on it, laser focused, and you scale it up. Okay. You put all your energy, time, effort to get better, and then you become an expert. You know it better than anybody else. That's the objective of bullseye strategy because what that's going to do, it's going to help you speak directly to your clients in that method that you already had signs of life that they decide to work with you or they decide to have more conversations with you. And then once you have received that, you can acquire more. Okay. There's always more. Keep that open mind, that open perspective of more, because if there's one, there's 100 available. Okay. So you want to make sure that you keep planting those seeds, only focused on that marketing channel that you selected and you've now found and discovered your bullseye strategy. So give yourself a hand clap. So if you're in the chat, put in like the top three channels you actually would like to test um, for yourself, right? That you might enjoy. Put in the top three channels that may be beneficial, that you're interested in, that might drive your passion, that you might wind up finding your bullseye strategy after using these three channels, okay? So put that in the chat when you get some time. So you say, what if this doesn't work, Trey? Well, it's a possibility that this will not work the first time. And that's okay. You want to know why? Because we still have 16 other channels available. So if it doesn't work, you go back to ground zero, right? The outer ring, and then you select three other channels, a couple of different channels. You swap them out. Okay. We want to test because we're in the testing. We haven't done this before. And so we want to make sure that the other channels that we use bears fruit, that it gets the leads that we want. It's good for our budget. And we're able to get a lot of impressions and be seen around the globe in a specific channel and make a significant impact, right? That our message is clear and it's pushed to the audience. So if it does not work, it's okay. And that's normal. You want to go back to the outer ring, select the 19 marketing channels, and then go back and test the new messaging that you have on those channels. And then you go through the funnel again, right? And so you're now in the middle ring after the outer ring, and you're testing those 3 to 4 channels that you let from 19 marketing channels. You're testing those ideas, and then you get to the back to the bullseye strategy. One of these strategies will produce good fruit with you. If you are doing your due diligence, one of them will produce fruit, even if it's building relationships. Okay? And I'm gonna talk to you more about that. And also, you can give me a shout if it doesn't work, okay? Because I can help guide you, and maybe you need to do a little bit more research in your industry to see what they're actually doing at this current times, because things change every single season, and we don't want the consumer buy decisions to interrupt your selection process when you're choosing a marketing channel. So we've had a lot of success with the strategy, and I'm gonna share with you a couple stories that we've experienced when working with some of our clients. Okay, so we have a client, a men's clinic, specifically in Raleigh, North Carolina, and they were actually able to use the strategy to drive in revenue. We built their website, their logos, and eventually we got to the point where they were like, "Hey, we're gonna need to drive in more business as a startup." And we had options. We had podcasts, we had radio. They had already done some TV in the past, and we also done SEO and Google Ads. So we were kind of like testing the 19 marketing channels out, scattering on a high level because their budget was different. And we got to the point where we tested these channels and we saw that, okay, television, the people love it. They trust it. It drove in business, drove in revenue like crazy. Okay. So here's a prime example of a business that's scaling today. We found a bullseye strategy, TV, and it drove in revenue. People knew, they counted them as credible, and they trusted them. Okay. So the bullseye strategy method works effectively if you work it. Okay. Go through the process. I got something special with you before we close. Okay. Go through the process and find out which strategy actually resonates with you. Which one makes you feel good? Which one you enjoy getting up in the morning for your business and pushing out and letting people know about. Okay. Because that channel that you select will it can last you a lifetime. If it's really that simple for you, you have the budget for it, you have the time for it, it can really produce you leads for a lifetime that you've been looking for. And so everything gets so much more clear when you find this one strategy. That's that golden strategy that produces business for you for a lifetime. And so National Men's Clinic has great success with finding that bullseye strategy. And it only took a matter of a month. Also, I'm gonna give you another case study, personal case study. It was me. I did it with Traction. Whenever I read the book Traction by the Go founders, I was able to take the method from Traction and implement it, outer ring. I think I had brief.com. I had another organization that I was happy with doing like referrals. And then I had strategic partnerships. And I believe I had one more. I think it was cold calling and also Google Ads, right? So I was doing a little bit more channels when it came to the bullseye strategy because the channels helped me be effective in the past. Like some of them I knew I bared fruit from, and also my clients produced leads from, right? So people in the same market had won in those industries. And so whenever it came to the strategy that I was working on, I was very, very excited. And I got to the point where I recognized, man, I'm trying all these advertising methods, but it seems like from my ears, what I heard from others in the marketing industry was that strategic partnerships work for them, right? And I had already been building relationships. I'm a natural relationship builder. I love people. So I actually was able to find out that strategic partnerships was my bullseye strategy. Now, did I want that to be my bullseye strategy? No, I wanted it to be easy. I just want to put some money somewhere and let it produce calls and leads and sales. It don't happen like that, okay? Some of us are in industries where people know you, like you, and trust you off a handshake. They're not going to work with you or invest in any contract if you're just throwing an ad at them, okay? So strategic partnerships turned out to be a great bullseye strategy for me. Now, will that change? Probably not. You want to tell you why? Because relationships is everything in marketing. In this industry that I'm in, relationships always rule. Okay. So then what am I going to do now? I'm going to get better at strategic partnerships. I'm going to read books around it. I'm going to find out where people are building these type of relationships that I need that are my ideal clients. And so strategic partnerships have been a golden method for me and it's kept me in business for a very long time, even to the point where I got better at referral building, helping others, sowing seed to my relationships. And in exchange of that, people have recommended my name or my business name. multiple times. They recommended DBA Marketing Pros, all strategic partnerships. And it takes more time, but I had to be okay with it because I found out this strategy is the best method for me running into my ideal clients and working with them for a lifetime. It's the no like trust factor that made all the difference. Okay. So I want to let you know, be on the lookout for our next webinar. We do one at the beginning of the month. So be on the lookout within our news, our marketing channels, our social media, website. Be on the lookout for our next webinar. I'd love to see you there. And also, if you have any ideas, feel free to throw them at us. If you have any ideas of some marketing ideas that you may have in mind, go ahead and share it with us, put it in the chat, and we'll be happy to actually speak on this because we want to help you. We're not focused on ourselves, we're focused on helping others grow and scale their businesses. So today, that's all that I have for you. Thank you so much for listening. There's going to be a download I'm giving you right now. You're going to be able to download a free gift. So you can look in the link. I believe it's going to be on your right hand side, or I'm going to put it up under the comments where you can download the process for finding your bullseye strategy. Okay, that's free to you. And I hope it benefits you and helps you identify those strategies that you can use for a lifetime. Now, strategies do change. Why? Because people pivot. Okay. Customers' buy decisions always will change. And that will make, once you find your strategy, it may not work next year, or it may not work in the next 10 years, right? It may work for the 5 years, but not 10. Well, your bullseye strategy may always change because consumer buy decisions change, and you have to adapt every single month to find out what works best for them. So we want to make sure that these strategies are effective for you. And if you have any questions when you're going through the process and you download your document that helps you with the bullseye strategy, I'll be open and willing to help you walk through it and be able to find your bullseye strategy and test it with you. Okay. And so if you're interested in that, you can reach me through my email, dre@dbaymarketingpros.com, or you can just give me a quick call, right? 919-410-7416. That's my business number, but you'll be able to reach me there and I'll be able to help you. And I look forward to you finding your bullseye strategy. Thank you so much for your time today, and I look forward to hearing much about your future success. Have a great day.